Hello again. Welcome back to From Chains to Cherish. My name is Luna. So, I know life can be stressful or is stressful right now. Bills are piling up. There's like so much going on in your life that is either stressful, that is either overwhelming, and you just need a breather. Sometimes you just need to unwind, but I guess you're like, but how can I afford that? Because you look at other people's vacation and all that. But in this episode, I'm just going to be giving you like some of the self care tips that you can do without straining your budget. Because I think self care is not a luxury, but a necessity. And I think in Kenya, we are blessed with nature because when it comes to self care, I think that nature is like the biggest thing that can calm you, that can just help you unwind. Because, like, for example, sometimes I love walking barefoot. It just, I don't know, there's freedom in walking barefoot. But I guess for some people that'll be like, ew, no, I can't do that. But as I said, nature, there's plenty of trees. For example, we have Karura Forest, we have the Nairobi National Park, we have amazing waterfalls out there. So if nature is something that resonates with you, then that is something that you can use to calm your mind. Like take a walk, go jog or something. And let's say, for example, you have a park near you, just like go there, do like a small picnic by yourself, reading there, or listen to music that is calming, and then there's the nature, combined with the wind, combined with the birds singing. It just comes, so that is one thing that you can try, and of course it's free. So and also I think another thing that I don't think many people realize this, but the home-based self-care. And when it comes to that, I think that when it comes to home, it doesn't matter whether it's big or small, whether you're living in a bed sitter, whether you're living in, I think home is what you make of it. So let's say, for example, you have that favorite chair of yours, just make it cozy, like, I mean, let's say, for example, me, like where I am, because I live with my parents, I have like my favorite chair. And if I see someone sitting on it, I'm usually like, get up, move out. So you see that favorite chair of yours, just make it so cozy, like add a pillow if you want to, add that special or favorite blanket of yours if you want to, have some scented candles. I think there's a thing about scented candles, like I don't know what flavor or what your favorite flavor is, but there's plenty: vanilla, strawberry, chocolate. I'm more into strawberry, but those kind of smells are so calming, soothing. So you have that cozy chair of yours, you have the scented candle, or if you can't have that, then maybe just a book, or as I said, music. Music is therapeutic. So I always say that for me, when it comes to music, I often listen to music that resonates with my mood, the mood that I am currently into. So let's say I am like I'm in a dark mood. I will listen to music that will just make me feel it, until I just want to listen to something that is just gonna make me vibe and all that. So music is something that can calm you. So if it's music or just watching a movie, then yeah, that cozy chair of yours, music, movie, do that until you felt like you're unwinding or you're relaxing. Another home-based care is meditation, but I think when it comes to meditation, someone is like, but I don't have the money for that, because I think plenty of times meditation is associated with yoga, And again, yoga is, I think that when people hear yoga, sometimes it's maybe expensive when you have like to maybe go to a yoga studio and all that, but you can do all that at home. There are plenty of free apps that give you meditation tips, that give you breathing techniques, that give you just ways to unwind, your brain, to just make it relax, to make it calm down, to make it stop overthinking. I really don't know I don't know some of the free apps I can recommend to you, but I believe they are there. I've had some being recommended to me, but I haven't tried it yet because I'm more into journaling and writing, but I'll get into that in a minute. So, yeah, meditation, as I said, there are apps for that. It has breathing techniques, music that can calm you as you meditate, as you just regulate your feelings, regulate your emotions until you've calmed down. And I also think another technique is journaling. Yeah, I am so big on journaling, and it doesn't have to be a fancy diary or a fancy journal. It can be just a simple notebook. Write down what you're feeling, write down what is stressing you, write down what you hope will work out, write down what your plans are and what you like just want to make sure you get done and all that. So journaling, I do that plenty. And also creative writing. If you're a creative writer like me, that is something that can help you. Like, I use it to escape reality when it gets too much in here. Plenty of times it gets too much in here and I just have to like escape and go into a different space. So yeah, I do a lot of creative writing, either it's poems, songs, or just short stories, and reading. Yeah, so reading, if it's your thing, that is definitely something you can do because for me, reading is so addicting. I love reading. Like, when it comes to self care, because as I said, budget friendly, reading is like my top thing. Even if it's not like to just unwind, I just like I guess it's my thing, to just go into this different world. You meet different people and you feel different emotions. And I love that, because sometimes I think it helps me, especially when I'm like going through something that is stressful or like I'm just in a happy mood. So, reading, if it's your thing, then definitely do that, whether it's escaping reality or just, feeling something different and all that. I also know that sometimes you're like, but I cannot afford therapy. I cannot, have the money to pay someone to listen to my problems and all that. And that is the reason for online resources and support groups. Like right now, because mental health is like a huge crisis, GBV is like a huge crisis countrywide. So there is plenty of support groups online right now: WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. And I think it's so, I think it's confidential, and you don't like hear your stories being discussed with others, because I think another fear that people usually have is when it comes to speaking up is the fear of sharing it with someone you trust, and then all of a sudden it's like a group discussion with your closest friends, and you're like, how did they get to hear about what I'm going through? So I think the thing with support groups and all that is people who are strangers but are also experiencing the pain you're experiencing, or are just trying to find a safe space where they can vent their emotions without judgment, and yeah, you feel validated. I think the thing about expressing your emotions without being ridiculed or judged or shamed is freeing, you just get it all out. And yeah, I also have this thing where I don't know if you have tried it, but I guess it depends with where you are, because I think in an urban area, you go outside and you scream, people are gonna look at you like, are you crazy or what? But from where I live, I think it's private, so sometimes you just go outside and scream into the trees, and you'll let all those hurtful feelings to nature, and you're like, oh my god, just take all that and give me all the positivity. As I said, nature has the I don't know, nature has this healing aura. So yeah, sometimes I do like just go talk to trees. I mean, it's freeing. So if it works for you, then it works for me. So yeah, you can try that. And going back to what I was saying, support groups are, confidential. They're freeing. You can vent without the fear of wondering, are they going to tell someone? Are they going to be talking behind my back and all that? And also, I think the thing about support groups is the pain. I don't want to say that pain is similar, because pain is different, but it's relatable. So you go to a support group like that, and you vent your emotions. You talk about what is stressing you in your life right now, and all that. You get to hear from people who are going through maybe similar things or different things, but it makes you feel validated. So yeah, you can try that if you can't afford therapy, because as I've always said, I think I need therapy, but it's expensive. I've heard of a session going from either 3,000 to 6,000 Kenya shillings, and I'm like, how can I afford that? But hopefully in future, maybe. So if you're afraid of that, like you don't have the money to go to therapy, you don't have the budget in your income, then yeah, these support groups, these online resources, you can try that. And also think that it's important to like create a group of close friends. But as I said, I think the thing about close friendship is sometimes you're scared of your closest friends talking about your pain behind your back. But I also think that when it comes to something like that includes closest friends, it's just a matter of trust. Once you trust one another and know that I trust this someone to like tell them my secret, to like tell them what is going on, and that they won't be talking about it if I haven't given them the consent to. And yeah, so I think, yeah, support groups. And then let's see, watching and music. I mean, I've talked about that already, but music, as I said, is therapeutic. When it comes to, let me give myself as an example. When it comes to like dark moods, I listen plenty to David Kushner. Um, I don't know if you know him, but I think the most famous song of his is, oh my God, Mr. Unforgettable or something. But when I'm getting into a dark mood, that kind of music, because most of his music is like somber, I listen to that a lot. But when it comes to like, I just want to be vibing and all that, I listen to plenty of Taylor Swift, Mandy. There's amazing Kenyan artists. Toxic. Yeah, I love Toxic. His music is, yeah. When I'm just in the mood to, sometimes like when I'm so stressed and I'm like, my head is getting to that headspace of giving up. I love listening to Toxic, because his music is so gangster. And then I listen to it and I'm like, okay, so no, yeah, you cannot give up. Music, yeah. Music is definitely something that works. I think it can work for everyone, depending on what you love when it comes to music, or what your favorite genre is. If you're into gospel music, if you're into pop, reggae, gangster rap, gengetone, and all that, then whatever works for you. Because I think when it comes to self care, what works for me doesn't work for you, and that's why there's a variety of options that you can tap into until you get into something that resonates with you or makes you feel comfortable. And also, I think another thing is exploring your hobbies, or just trying new things. Um, I think that, yeah, when it comes to hobbies or when you don't know where to start when it comes to self care, just that thing that makes you feel happy. Like when you get out of work, maybe your job is like the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, and you get home and you just want to relax. So, that first thing that comes into your mind when you want to relax, like let's say, yeah, music, movie, or you just want to read a book, or you just want to write, that's something that just makes you happy. Start with that, you know, and then as you progress, you can tap into other things that, yeah, make you unwind and relaxing. Because, as I said, self care is not a luxury, it's a necessity, because life can get so sad sometimes, so complicated, so stressful, and yeah, overwhelming. And you just want to, like, you when it gets, as I said, overwhelming, and there's those plenty of emotions, anger, sadness, happiness combined, and you don't know how to sort them out. So you have to find the ways that can help you unwind, and then now you're able to, like, face a new day or make a decision with a clear mind, you know so yeah, those are just some of the things I think that you can try tapping into. And of course, I forgot to mention sleep. Sleep is important. Yeah, I love sleeping. Oh yeah, who doesn't love to sleep, so I think that's like the sleep. Sleep is just its nature, I think, and you have to try as much as you can to, like, have the healthiest sleep patterns. I've always struggled with my sleep because, yeah, again, when it comes to mental health and all that, I've talked about my struggles, the anxiety and all that, but I struggle with sleep plenty because most of the time I usually maybe sleep like maybe 5 to 6 hours, because sleep is so hard to find. So most of the times I'm either reading late or watching late until just sleep catches up to me. So I think it's important to, like, try and create a sleep pattern. If you have to sleep by 10, then I think someone needs to get to bed an hour before their sleep time, so that way your thoughts and everything, because, like, for example, me, when I get into bed, that is the time, like, my thoughts get so overwhelming. Like, it's like wave after wave after wave after wave after wave after wave, and I'm like turning and turning in bed. I'm like, why is sleep not coming? So I've made it a habit of me getting into bed and listening to music, and that way my brain just calms down and I sleep. So that is like one. I think it's a healthy habit for me. So I just play music in bed and then I sleep. That way, sleep is easy. As I said, it's easy now to come. But if it before I struggled, as I said, my thoughts were too much when I got into bed, because now that is the time, like, you're not engaging in any physical activity, or I have to do this in the house, I have to do that, I didn't finish that, and now you get into bed and yeah, your brain is just exploding. So I think I've gotten better in it, but hopefully it gets to the point where it doesn't, it's still not a problem, but yeah, one step at a time. So yeah, you do that too. One step at a time, until self-care is just something that you have to do in your life to live a healthier, happier life because it helps you. I think, yeah, self care, as I said, helps you unwind and all that. So it helps you make better decisions. It helps you be healthier. It helps you just have a freer mind and be able to take care of others better. And that is important right now, especially right now with the world we're living in. As I said at the beginning of this episode, there's so much going on with life, economy. Oh my God, the economy. And then health. So much in your life, so much in my life, so much around, you know, everywhere. So we need something that can just help you calm down because at the end of the day, we're just human and we just want to be happy. Because I know of people who have like 3 to 5 jobs to like be able to sustain their life or to survive. And it's hard, but yeah, this episode is about self-care on a budget, and those were just some of the things that are budget friendly or just things that you can try and tap into without straining your income or straining your account. So, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Leave your feedback, share, and all that. Remember, you matter, you're not alone, and you're worth it. See you next.